this is going to be our warm up for our lower body. Our goals here are going to be to increase the heart rate, warm up the muscles and tissue, and then work on a little bit of our mobility, getting into the end ranges of our hips, our knees, and our ankles, so that whatever exercise or activity you're doing, your body's already been through all of the possible end ranges and it's ready to go. And then lastly is going to be activation and muscle firing, so getting everything working properly and firing so that we can get into our exercises. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to be skipping. You can also jump on the spot if you don't have a skipping rope. And what's going to be important here is our feet. So we are trying to land on our toes and then not touch our heels to the ground, and then get our knees a little bit forward and jump back up through those toes. We want to make sure as well that we're going with a good foot pattern. So if we get to this next angle coming up here, want to make sure that when you take off, the forces are going through your big toe and up, and then you're landing as well. We don't want our foot to be rolling to the side, and we really want to work on the elasticity of the lower leg. This is a great exercise to help with our lower leg strength over time and our jumping, and also does a good job getting you warmed up. The next one we're going to do is going to be unders. So this one here, we're going to find a hockey stick or get someone to hold it, do something where you can use a stick, or you can just make sure you're getting as low as you can into your end ranges. But we're going to put one foot on one side of our object and one foot on the other side, keeping our feet as straight as we can. And we're going to squat as low as we possibly can to make sure we get right into the end range of our hip, knee, and ankle mobility. So your heels should come off the ground just a little bit, and that's going to make it sure that you know your ankles are also getting pushed to their end ranges from this exercise. We want to do about 6 of these per side before we move on to the next thing. The next one is going to be overs. So we've got a stick a little bit higher than our knees, and we're going to really slowly lift up one knee while we're balancing on one foot. And you're going to lift it as high as you possibly can up towards your chest, and then step forward over top and lift the other one. What we're working on here is using our hip flexors and getting our hip flexors warmed up and doing their job properly. If you go too fast through this, your quad is just going to take over and do the work of your hip flexor. So we purposely want to lift that leg slow, get it nice and high, and then slowly over top of that object with both feet. Once again, here we want to do about 6 per side, and then we can move on to the quadrilateral walk. So this one is a QL walk or a glute walk, and what we're doing here, you don't need a weight, but if you have one, it's going to make it just a little bit harder. We're going to go straight legs, and this is one to warm up our lower back and our glutes a little bit, and it really helps get the lower back moving properly so that you're not in a place where you might get injured with it. So basically, point your toes forward, keep your legs straight, and we're going to slightly lift up one side of our body. So one of your butt cheeks, lift it up slightly, move it forward as much as you can, and then the other one. You want to walk forwards with about 15 to 20 of these shuffles, and then backwards with about 15 to 20, making sure your lower back is moving, and that's going to be good to get that moving properly. After that, we're going to go step ups. So now we're activating our quads and our glutes. We're going to put one foot up on a chair, step up, drive the other knee as high as you can, and then back down a little bit slow, step up again. And here we're trying to make sure that our top leg is doing almost all of the work of pushing. And this is just a good one. We can do about 8 per side. It's a really good one to just activate the glutes and the quads and get those muscles firing and ready to push. Then we've got dead bugs. So this is just for core. We want to make sure that our lower back is flat and compressed to the ground here. We're pulling our belly button right into the ground. We're going to put our hands and legs in this position and then alternate opposite hand, opposite leg on the way down, focusing on maintaining that core pushing down into the ground the whole time. And we want our spine to stay in contact with the ground the whole way through this movement. So this is going to be really good to warm up that core and make sure that it's firing properly. And then lastly, we're gonna do a couple fire hydrants. So this one here, we're gonna make sure we're in a good position with our back again. And then you're gonna lift up one knee and go out to the side. So this here, we're just working on activating the glute meds, so glute medius, which is a smaller muscle within your within your glutes. And we want to make sure that our hips are nice and strong and ready to go, which is really important for hockey, but also for these workouts. So it's a matter of taking that foot and lifting that knee out to the side. What we're trying to do here as well is not twist our body and get our hips moving in a weird direction. So we're just gonna put that hip out as far as we can to the side, hold it for a second at the top, bring it back down. We wanna do somewhere between 10 and 15 of these per leg, and just make sure you feel a bit of a burn in those glutes, and that's gonna be a good job, or do a good job of activating your glutes and getting them ready for the workout. And that wraps it up for the lower body. After doing all those, you should be ready to go. You can do a little bit more if you want to, or mix in your own warm-up, but that's the one I would suggest to make sure your lower body is ready for the activity we're gonna be doing.